most meaningful and most life-changing is Mighty George. I had a chance to meet this guy. His name was George from Houston, Texas. And I met him 2014. And he was battling cancer. And the way I met him, I went to his class. He wasn't in school. I went to his class and shot a video with his class, basically telling him get well soon. We shot a video on an iPad. A member of our PR team took the iPad to his house, and he's watching the video. He's excited to see, no matter what he's going through, he's excited to see his classmates with thunder.
How cool.
And while he's watching this video, I'm standing behind him in his living room.
Whoa.
And he turns around, and the emotion he has on his face when he sees me, and he runs and just gives me a hug.
Hey, George. Oh my goodness!
How's it going? How's it going, George?
What's going on, George?
We have something for you. How you doing? You're welcome.
Buddy.
You get this stuff?
Oh, is this ball? Can I have one?
You get some?
We were just watching you guys.
Oh.
And he talks about my world record when I had only had one at the time. And he talks about the world record he saw, and I'm like, this is way bigger than myself. And that moment right there changed my life. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. And the cool thing about it is I had a chance to speak to him a couple years ago. He's still doing well. I believe he might have just graduated high school now. But Mighty George is doing well, and he's still staying strong.
Man.
And that changed my life forever.
Welcome back, friends. Today I drove about 3 miles down the road from my house to the beautiful Sonnentag Center to hang out with a Harlem Globetrotter. Welcome to the show, Corey Thunder Law.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, welcome back to Eau
Much
Claire.
love.
It's your just second time.
Second time here, yes. And I don't remember it being this cold. It's freezing here, man. So,
Dude, it was absolutely just as cold. What's the coldest place you've ever been to? Because you've been to like 20-some countries and hundreds of cities.
Yeah, so the coldest place I've ever been to, I want to say it was like Saskatoon, Canada or something. It was like, I just remember being there and I looked at my phone and it said -18 degrees. And then it said with wind chill, -40. And I was like, oh, nah, it's crazy.
What about the hottest place you've ever been? Because you've been, well, I guess, have you been to every continent outside of Antarctica?
I've been to every one except, so I've been to 6 continents. The hottest I've ever been, it was somewhere in the Middle East. I would probably say it got really hot. I was in Afghanistan one summer. It was hot. Somewhere with either Abu Dhabi or Afghanistan, I would say. No, Egypt. Oh my goodness, I was just in Egypt 2024. It was super hot.
Dude, we'll get back to talking about Egypt with the whole TV thing, because that was pretty epic, although I couldn't find the full episode anyway. But, So usually I start the show the same way. In your own words, who are you and what are you passionate about?
In my own words, I am Corey Law. I am a proud father of 2 daughters, and I am passionate about leaving a positive impact on the world.
So you started with basketball. At what point, and I guess we'll get into how you got with the Globetrotters, but at what point did your mind shift away from like wanting to be a professional athlete to wanting to inspire kids? Not that professional athletes don't inspire kids, but the Harlem Globetrotters are much more focused on like community outreach and like education and like fun more than it is just like purely competitive.
For me, I would never say it was a shift. This is just, my best friend always tell me the Globetrotters was created for me. And that's just, and he says that because of my heart. I've always had like this big heart and wanted to just be that positive person in my group chat, in my group, in my house, wherever I met. I just always wanted to just be that light.
Sure.
That always brighten up a room. But far as but basketball, it's crazy because like I was never this like person that like I gotta make it to the NBA. I gotta make it to pro. My goal was to like leave Camelot, where I grew up at. My goal was to leave there and be able to get a free education. And that's why I worked hard, to go to college, to do something that no one else in my neighborhood was doing.
Sure.
And that was always my motivation. And then, once I, started doing things differently, like, being able to dunk at 12 years old, and I might be good at this to like really play professional. And then, it was always in the back of my mind, but I just was always had a goal, go to college for free. To college for free.
Well, and you're what, like 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'3".
So to me, you seem like huge.
Yeah.
For NBA players, you're actually not that tall.
I'm pretty small.
You would be little.
And so I'm not that tall for a basketball player, and for my position, I'm super undersized. I was a power forward
Okay.
So that's not, you know, the average power forward is like 6'8", 6'9".
Sure.
I'm 6'3".
Just
you know?
a little too little. So you were able to dunk at 12. I still can't dunk. Not that I try hard.
Don't give up, man.
Hey, if I were to like start doing little jumps over and go to the gym and intentionally focus, I feel like it's within reach.
Absolutely.
But I'm just busy with some other things. It's not the highest priority.
Fair.
I'll watch you dunk. So do you remember the first time that you dunked? Was it like you were at school where every day you're like, I'm almost there, almost there?
I was at Hugo Owens Middle School in Chesapeake, Virginia, and it was gym class. And it was crazy because my gym teacher, Mr. Goddard, I'm calling him out, he cut me from the basketball team. I couldn't dunk it, and I remember just like I was always watching the basketball players like play around, mess around in the gym, and I was kind of like, I wasn't super quiet, but I wasn't the most popular dude in the world, so I would just be in the kind of corner just shooting around, and like one day I just like went and touched rim, and it was just so easy, and I started practicing trying to dunk, but I never could do it because my hands wasn't big enough, and I remember one time I couldn't palm it, so I remember like it was in the spring, and I remember just throwing the ball up, really running, and just taking off and like threw myself a oop, and that was the very first time.
The first one was an alley-oop.
That's the only way I could do it. Like I couldn't run and hold the ball, and like because every time I tried, the ball would fall out my hand. So it was like I would just throw it and wait for it to time right up and just catch it and put it in. That was my very first time.
Wild. So you don't see a whole lot of middle schoolers that can dunk. Mm-hmm. It is surprising that doesn't automatically make you good enough to start. Not that like the competition's crazy high at that point, but like what were you really lacking in that you couldn't get a spot on the team yet?
Honestly, nothing. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think nothing, because it was funny because my mom, she's crazy. When I got cut from the basketball team, she went to the school the next day and literally cussed him out. Like, now, when I say nothing now, that's confident me. But if you would have asked me that question 20 some odd years ago, I would have thought I was lacking everything.
Sure.
Because he just took I mean, you know, when you get cut as a kid, you lose all your confidence.
Yeah.
At least I did. But that let her fire me to really go hard. And, you know, I made the team in 8th grade and end up winning the city championship. And the same coach was there. And, like, you know, we're good friends now. But you know.
Tell me about winning the city championship. I didn't know that happened. I guess I just figured you were by far the best on the team, and that is what it is, because I'm from a small town. People in Eau Claire don't really go on to like big things in sports very often. So
for me, that was like one of the first championships I won. It was I was 13, but you don't think of it as this like great, like what's big where I'm from is like a state championship. Sure. So it's just like you're just the best one in your city, and for me it was cool. Yeah. But you know, it was like I'm ready for what's next, kind of. You know. Then when you got to high school in 9th grade, were you already like really, really good and part of varsity, or do you have to do JV and all that again? Now, one of the most influential persons in my life is Coach Leroy Ricks. He grew up with my mom. You'll hear me referencing my mom a lot. That was like my best friend growing up. And but he set me on the bench my whole 9th grade year. I never got in the game. Why? We were pretty good. I'm not going to. So yeah, I had like, so it was an NBA player on my team, well, retired NBA player, Mike Scott. We had guys that, you know, went on to play at Oklahoma, but like I had a pretty decent team, decent players on my high school team. Yeah. That wasn't the case in my middle school team. But so yeah, I don't know. But ended up working out for me. I started the last 3 years. Sure. In that trophy case, I saw on TV, because you've been on TV a whole bunch of times, there was a whole program on Aspire, I want to say it was, that you went back to like your high school and saw your coach and a bunch of players and stuff, and it showed there was like a trophy case with your jersey and all that in there. Does the NBA player also have a bunch of his stuff in the trophy case? Mike Scott definitely has some stuff in there. You know, he's he's an awesome dude. You know, he has some stuff in there. But I don't know. I think my jersey is cooler than the Hawks jersey. So. I think you do have the coolest jersey of any of the teams out there. So let's talk about college, because you definitely learn a lot in college, and you said you just wanted to go for a free education. What now you're in like sports entertainment. Were you going for something in the entertainment world? No, absolutely not. Okay. So I went to college, and you know, like I remember the first day I got to college, it was like, I thought I won the lottery because I thought I made it. Like that was my goal. Like that was my goal. I went to college and I went for free. And High Point University is still the greatest university in the world to me. Why? First of all, you just got to Google it. I don't know. Okay. From like in my dorm room, I had a 5-star steakhouse I got access to. I had like an arcade, like a Dave & Buster's arcade type free Chick-fil-A, free Subway. We had Mercedes-Benz ice cream trucks that rode around and gave us everything for free. It's just...
So this is how they enticed athletes before NIL deals were a thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we was taking... Now, I wonder why I still love it now with the NIL deals. I just go over somewhere and get some money, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Get your own car.
But, can you repeat that question? We got sidetracked. But yeah,
I said what made the university great, but before that I asked you, what were you going to school for? Was it some kind of entertainment?
No. So I first was a communications major, and then I realized like it was too much writing. So I dropped that and then picked up criminal justice to realize it was a lot of writing in there too. But I got a degree in criminal justice. I got 2 degrees, one in sports management and criminal justice, and a minor in coaching.
Wild.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what I heard was that you got drafted you got found by the Globetrotters in a dunk contest at your college.
So
is that like a thing? Like colleges have dunk contests? I've never heard of that before.
So no, yes. So during the Final Four weekend, which is like the biggest weekend in college basketball, the Final Four during March Madness.
Was your team in that?
No, my team didn't make it to it.
Okay.
March Madness, but they bring the top 8 dunkers in the country to compete in the dunk contest during Final Four weekend, and I was one of the ones that competed. Wow. And that's why I didn't know the Globetrotters was in the house, but they were there in the house. They saw me, and they reached out to me via email, and I didn't take it serious. I didn't think it was real. Like, I'm just like, no way. And I had an agent at the time, and I sent over the stuff to my agent. He verified that this is real. They wanted me to join the team for the 88th World Tour. And in my mind, like I said, it wasn't on my radar, and I don't want to cover periods. I'm not going to be the one. And like, this is always something I wanted to do, because I wasn't going to do it. My best friend and my mom talked me into doing this.
So were you thinking you were going to try to go into police academy, be a cop right out of college, or like were you trying?
I was going actually. I had a basketball agent, and I got an agent because I thought everybody expected me to still play basketball.
Okay.
My heart really wasn't with it, honestly. I had 6 surgeries in the span of 3 years, and I kind of was losing my passion, or had really lost my passion for basketball. Like I said, and but I went and got an agent because everybody expected me to. I did what I had just said out loud right now. I was afraid to say that.
Sure.
As a 22-year-old kid, and so, and then when the Globetrotters came, it was like, they're not even competitive. Like, I'm not doing that, because I just didn't know nothing about the Globetrotters, really.
Sure.
Outside of what I would see, the commercial, I knew it was a great brand and a historical brand for sure. These are things I knew, but I really wasn't like I wasn't doing like the comedy things that I would do on the court. I always had like a big personality, but it was in a total different way. Yeah. Like I was super competitive, crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, truly in I don't want to say it's not competitive, but in regular competitive basketball, that would be showboating. Exactly. But in this, it's fun and intentional.
It's fun,
there's a difference too, for sure.
Keyword intentional. So for me, it was like, nah. And I remember when I graduated, I went on vacation. And I went to Miami, and I was telling my best friend, and he grew up, he loved the Globetrotters. He always would go with his family in Charlotte. And I had never seen him play outside of seeing him on TV. And he was like, yo, everything I know about you, the Globetrotters was made for you. He told me that, and words always stick in my head, and I still wasn't for sure. And I went and told my mom that I got drafted by the Globetrotters, and she was later, we were about to go somewhere. She was in the mirror doing her hair, and she looked at me through the mirror and was like, are you serious? And she went and told me a story about Curly Neal, how he came to her school on a Tuesday, and like the look on her face, and I'm like, that's cool. Like I want people to remember me like that, So I gave it a try. My first year, I really wasn't all the way in, but after year 3, I can't picture myself like I'm a Globetrotter for life.
So what does it look like when you get drafted? It's not like traditional NBA where you're like waiting for the phone call because they're going through however many teams and each person in each round. Like,
I think the coolest thing about getting drafted, and I'm going to be brutally honest, I'm an honest dude. So
sure. That's why we're on the podcast.
It looks cool on social media. It was dope. I still had to try out. I ain't get no like red carpet laid out for me. I still had to come in and put in work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, it wasn't like a target on my back. And I had a lot of attention on me because I got drafted and everybody expects you to do good.
Sure.
Like, why he get, so I'm coming in and, but I was ready for all the pressure. But getting drafted, it was cool. It was like, I went from 10,000 to like 30,000 followers overnight on Instagram.
Oh,
That was
wow.
cool. That was cool.
Did you like announce it yourself right away before you made the team? Like, hey, I got the draft call, or hey, or did you kind of keep it under wraps because you were afraid you weren't going to make the team?
It was a little bit of both. So it was like, you know, anything that was posted about me, I would repost it. But I started getting questions I didn't know the answer to. Like, when does the season start? I don't know. Like when I got drafted, I didn't even know that I didn't know I was going to have to try out then.
Sure.
Like, but I got drafted. I started talking. They was like, yeah, we're going to fly you down to try. Like 3-4 weeks later, they were like, yeah, we're going to fly you down to tryouts, and it's going to be August. And then I went to tryouts and did great, and still didn't hear nothing back until like a month later, September 4th. You know, and they say you're going to be coming to training camp.
What do tryouts look like? Because
Straight
again, it's not exclusively
basketball. Like it's straight hooping. Like so now, what people see about the Globetrotters is doing this stuff. And so when I use the word competitive and things like that, that's what they think. But when we try out, it ain't no trick. Don't nobody know how to do tricks. You got to be the best basketball player there. And then after you prove that you can play basketball, you got to go through this interview process. And it's just like the coaches, the president, whoever's in that room, the PR team, whoever's in that room, just watching you talk, sort of like this, and seeing how you carry yourself.
Sure.
And it's like seeing, can he speak, and this, that, and the third, and it's like, this is crazy.
How long was it from that first email until you signed like actual employment contract with the team?
I got my first email in June. It was June. I want to say end of June is when they announced it. They announced it June 26th. That's my parents' anniversary. June 26th, they announced I was drafted. I knew I was being drafted probably about 2 or 3 weeks before. So the beginning of June, I got the first email. I didn't sign until September 4th, 2013.
Okay, so during that whole time frame, did you get a job after college, or were you just like, this summer, I'm just crossing my fingers, this is going to work out?
What I did that summer, I was like, you know, I still, you know, I didn't fire my agent yet, so I still had an agent. So we were still, you know, going back and forth trying to, you know, I had some deals working overseas.
Like to play overseas basketball?
To play overseas, yes.
Okay.
Yep. But I definitely did not want to do that for sure. I didn't want to go.
Just because you didn't want to be away from family and friends forever?
No, I just didn't have passion for like.
Sure, yeah.
I just be in Europe, but I was just doing it because that if I have to do that. But, you know, I was really signing up to like, you know, for like police academies, police jobs. Like you made that joke early, but I really was doing that. You know, police applying for police academy in California. That's where my family lives now. In North Carolina, that's where I went to school at. I had did this like private firm called Gavin D. Baker. I applied for them. It was a security firm in Washington, D.C. And doing that, I was becoming certified for NASM Training Academy, where I'm still a certified personal trainer. So whatever it was, I won't just gonna be just sitting back. I was gonna be doing something.
Sure.
But you know, just trying to figure it out. And you know, and looking back at it now, I'm like, I got this whole like silver platter with the Globetrotters, you know, them wanting me to be on their team, and I'm like, still like, you know, like I said, that being cut in the 7th grade ain't nothing promised, you know.
Sure.
So I got that mentality like, might not work out. Excuse
Yeah.
my language, but it might not work out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, so with the Globetrotters, you guys travel and play more games than any other team by like a wide margin. So when you started with them, you said that September, was it like I'm getting on this flight and I'm not coming home for 6 months?
Nah. So I knew when I got on that flight in September, okay, let's take it back to September. So training camp, I wasn't supposed to go to training camp. It was started September 4th. I wasn't supposed to show up for another week. So Globetrotter training camp, it used to be about almost 3 weeks long. The first week, just all the like the players that signed the contract, the 30 players that had actual contract signed, they come for that first week. Then we had something like taxi. So think of it as a substitute player. If someone gets
practice
hurt,
squad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what it was. I was going to come a week later, but I found out on the 3rd, I got a call from a dude named Al Clarker. Yo, are you available to come in tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah. So I pack everything up and I fly out. So mind you, I'm just like all over the place. I'm excited because I kind of know this is a good thing. I'm coming in early and I look in the room and it's like, these are all the heavy hitters here, you know, in the organization at the time. And like the top 30 players, because we had like 60 players.
Sure. Yeah, because how many teams do you guys have? 3?
We got 3 teams. We super condensed now. So like we got three teams with like 12 players and everybody signed so we condensed our roster and it's like, you know, which it works out better. It's the best of the best. And you know, we kind of was forced to do that through COVID. You know, we had to get rid of a lot, but you know, it's just the best of the best now.
So what was it like when you walked in? How long was it before you played your first game? I saw, and we'll get into the record breaking and stuff. I saw a video of you breaking your first world record, and at the time, I think you hadn't played a game.
Haven't had played a game. I broke my first record, and I want to say it was either September or October. I played my first. It may have been early November. It may have been early November because I played my first game. It was around. We went on a military tour. And so every year we do like a military tour, and this was a military tour overseas in the Middle East.
Your first game was in the Middle East? No, I'm sorry,
this was in Europe. This was the European, because we rotate them. So we go to Asia, Europe, and then the Middle East. The very first one was in Europe, because I played my first Globetrotter game was in Rota, Spain.
Wow.
On a military base. And they didn't have a Thunder jersey, and I was wearing Hammer's jersey. He hated it. That's like, he's my best friend on the team now. And he absolutely hated it. We joke back on it all the time, but he had an extra Hammer jersey, and I had to wear his jersey for like the first 4 or 5 days. My first 5 games, I was Hammer.
What number is he?
Number 31.
Okay, so I saw the early things of you online, which you can find a lot of things of you, but
34.
most of them are only like 2 minutes long, unfortunately. That's why I'm glad we got this for a longer form interview.
Yeah.
You were wearing 34.
Yeah.
So why'd you switch numbers? Why'd you pick 34? Why'd you switch to MJ's number?
Okay, so 34 wasn't chosen. I was given that number. That was just the number they gave Thunder. So I took it and rolled with it. But I made it my own. But a legend, Harlem Globetrotters legend, Tex Harrison, he wore that. And he passed away, and they retired that jersey. So no one else can wear number 34. I was the last one to wear it, and it was worn by a legend who's had a lot, you know, he's superseded everything I've done, you know, so he's amazing.
Well, you got, what, 14 seasons in, and you got more coming? Hey,
exactly.
You might make that Mount Rushmore. So in that college dunking contest, what did you do? Did you do a 360 dunk? Like, what'd you pull out?
Hell no, man. Let me tell you about this. So the college dunk contest was crazy, but so I'm literally the underdog, the dark horse dunker. So I was the only player that was actually voted into the dunk contest from the dark horse dunker. So I had to go through 8 rounds, like a 4-week thing, because I wasn't selected by the college committee. So they selected 7 players, and then the fans got to vote on what college player that they wanted to see dunk. So I basically won a popularity contest to get into the slam dunk contest.
And you weren't an influencer or anything, so how did people even see the videos? You just like emailed them in?
Shout out to High Point University and their team, their staff, all like they were making videos every single day. Like the vote for me, like to sign to check in for lunch, to swipe your lunch card. They had some kind of thing where you sign your lunch card and I automatically got a vote. Like people, like the way they did class attendance, they had to vote for me, and it was crazy. And like I actually went against a guy and got more votes than the dude that's on the team right now, Angelo Sharpless. And like we had to go head and vote, and then he went to Elizabeth City State in North Carolina, and he was doing really well with the votes as well. But I got more votes and it made it work. But back to that college dunk contest, man, it was crazy because like we had got there and we had practice the night before, and I was supposed to be the first dunker to go.
Okay.
And then like ESPN, so the way, I hope I'm not giving away too much, but like the way it works with ESPN is like they're watching, they want to see what dunks you're about to do. And like they saw the dunk I was going to do first. They wanted that, I went last. So my dunk was so crazy. And there was a dude named Pat DeRock where he had this signature kick pass, and like he was kicking it, and he'll kick it off his foot like a rainbow kick over his head, kick it off the backboard, and I was East Baying it, going through the legs, dunking it.
Whoa.
I was doing that over and over in practice. So we get to the game. We get to showtime, the dunk contest. All the players go. And then I talked to Pat. He was like, yo, just do a windmill. We go. He did the pass. The pass comes kind of low. I jump like I'm going through the legs. Long story short, ball slip out of my hands. Eliminated first round.
It's over. The kick foot. Oh, but he missed the shot.
Oh, no.
And the dude who ended up winning it was a dude that his name is Doug, and he ended up joining the Globetrotters the following year.
Sure.
But yeah, so it was cool. That was still a hell of
They didn't give you 3 tries or anything? Normally in the dunk contest, like with the NBA, you get.
So I missed it, but like the next one I just caught it and just like windmilled it.
At the hustle. Well, he windmills one in to show his elevation, but It's too bad.
And it just wasn't enough to get me to the second round. Like, and the windmill was still pretty crazy.
Oh,
But,
no, you choked on the big stage. Was that the first time you were, like, on major TV like that? Like, I mean, you were in college, so you played games. And you were
I
on
played
like
games,
that,
but like
this is, like, centered on you.
I want to say, yeah. Let me see. I want to say yes. It got to be.
Was that the most nervous at the time, anyways, that you had ever been? No?
No. At that time? No. I was never nervous about dunking. It was just like, that's something I've been doing for a long time.
Sure.
I wasn't nervous. Like, I get more nervous, like, for games today, like, than I was then. Yeah. I get.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
okay.
way more nerves.
Well, we'll get to that later because you do a lot of pretty crazy stuff. Because I saw you guys for the first time last year because I don't know that the Globetrotters had ever came here.
Yeah.
You said that you had only seen them on TV and stuff too. My earliest introduction would have been on Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
What was your earliest introduction to the Globetrotter?
My first time seeing it, they used to do this like ESPN special. I even had the opportunity to do it my first 7 years of the Globetrotters. We would play on ESPN once a year.
Oh, okay.
And my first time, I would always see them on ESPN. They would do a Globetrotter game on ESPN, and that was my first. I would just watch them yearly. You know, always it'd be on Sports. I mean, not Sports Center, but the ESPN network, and I would always watch the game. And like, it was crazy because I knew, like, even from Amazing Race and watching the games on ESPN, I always would see Big Easy and Flight Time.
Sure.
They was the ones I would always see. And then when I get to that training camp on the 4th of September 2013, they're the first two dudes I saw. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like, it's just a totally next level, different kind of celebrity, you know, because even NBA players, as big as they are now, like LeBron has his own podcast and stuff, but for the most part in history, they don't talk that much.
Nah.
You don't really see their personality a whole lot beyond whatever their little celebration is when they shoot the three, but otherwise you don't hear much of them versus like Curly Neal or all these other guys had so much of like visibility around what their personality was, which is why kids love them so much, and that's like part of all the fun and all that. So when you got on the team, obviously dunking was like the reason that they were initially interested. What role did you have with the team at the beginning? You weren't a showman right away. I'm sure it took a while.
My role, I got the same role I got right now. Sit down and watch. I was just sitting and watching, you know, because like I went from being the funniest in my family to being the highest jumper on my basketball team to being, you know, the most talented. And I was none of that when I first got here. Everybody is the best at where they come from. So you just got to really watch and be a student. Like any other profession, you just got to learn and hone in on your craft. And I was able to do that and learn from some legends. And then I found my niche. And, you know, and then as far as the dunking, you know, it was more here. Everybody can jump high, but the passes, if you watch the passes in the game, they're crazy passes. So it's not about the hops, it's about the timing. So you got to watch that ball fly through there. You got to know the perfect time to jump, and it's hard. And I couldn't even catch my first year. I used to put all this like stickum and powder on my hand because I used to be so nervous, man.
Sure.
You know, so that's what the nerves was, you know. But after a while, you just practice and you just get confident. You build your confidence.
Yeah.
And once you get that confidence with anything, man, that like the rest is history.
Yeah. Did you, I guess it's not like a traditional application to be a showman, but when you are the showman, you are like, you have the whole team around you.
Yeah.
But your role is like very, very significant. I didn't realize that until I watched it last year. You got a lot on your shoulders. If you all of a sudden choke or lose your nerve, the whole show's like stopped.
And it stopped, and everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching you. So
how long was it before you felt confident enough to even want to do that role?
I never thought about that. I just knew I wanted to be able to be a Globetrotter long enough to where like I could put it on my resume wherever I do after this and say, yo, I was a Globetrotter. I'm being honest. And then, like I said, I started to grow the love for it around year 3. And it was a coach named Jimmy Blacklock that said, I think you would be a good showman. And I'm like, I didn't think so. You know, like I stutter sometimes when I talk. Even still now, you hear me stuttering a little bit. Like, you know, I'm still like, I don't like speaking in public. I never was a public speaker. Like, what makes you think that, you know? And he's an old school guy. I just talked to him on the New Year yesterday. He's like, look at your hands. I'm like, I don't have big hands. Like, what about the way your physique? You just look like a good showman. I'm like, sure. Exactly. Just sure. But he would just come and talk to me about being a showman. And he like kind of gassed me up enough to make me want to try. And we have something called the third quarter showman. And that was usually the showman that's like up and coming or like kind of showman in training, if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah, that's what Speedy was last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. That's my dog. You know, I missed him. He retired on me, but shout out to Speedy.
Yeah, but he got a job coaching his college
Doing what he
basketball
loves.
team.
It's
Like,
nothing.
how could you get a better? Well, Globetrotters is a good gig,
No,
but if you
that
want to
is-
be home more, that's about as good of a gig as it
And
gets.
that's his dream job.
Yeah.
You know, being honest, that's what Speedy's a coach, and he impacts a lot of basketball players in so many different ways. He's an amazing dude.
Yeah.
And I won't be as great as a showman I am if it wasn't for Speedy.
Dude, so what happened after you retired? Who stepped into the role now as like the third quarter showman? Who lifts you up? Your dynamic between the two of you was pretty golden.
Speedy's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this unit I'm on, this team, is like we're really a family.
Yeah.
And, you know,
You have to be when you're on the road with
Yeah.
them as much as you are.
not always. I ain't gonna sit here and like everybody don't get along with.
Sure.
I mean, like I'll sit here and lie to you, and be like, well, we all just, you know what I mean? But like that's why I said this unit, this group I'm with, this 12, you know, and you know, 2 ladies that I'm traveling with, 10 guys and 2 like we're really close. I've never been in a locker room this close.
Sure.
Not my previous years as a Globetrotter and no other college team. Like we're really cool, and it's, you know, that's a shout out to my coach, Coach Scooter. He's a, you know, 16, 17 year Globetrotter now, 3-year head coach. The vibes and the charisma he brings to the team is just real dope. It's cool. But back to Speedy, yeah, he's irreplaceable, but you got Moose. Moose is my vet.
Sure.
So Moose was year 4 when I was a rookie. And I'm glad he was super nice to me when I was a rookie. Like he never did that like Ricky Hayes and stuff. He was just always chill. He's the same guy he is now 14 years ago. He was 14 years ago. So that's my big bro. Anytime I need that encouragement. Before I came to this podcast, we ended up backstage talk. That's what took me so long. We were backstage talking. So
Sure.
He always
So
looks
did you then, you said that one coach told you would be good or
Jimmy
be a good
Blackwell.
showman. So were you like third quarter showman for one season and then, or how did it work out?
story, man. So this one is a tough one for me because, you know, it's, you know, you always think you're good enough. You always think you're enough. But people who make those decisions on who's a showman might not see what you see in yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that. But I was a third quarter showman for about 4 years. And then, let me take it back. I was about 4 days first. I was a third quarter showman for 4 days.
Okay.
And I guess I did so bad
Oh, no.
that they called another player to come over and take my spot. So I went back to being a dunker or a finisher for 3 years. And then I got another chance to do it after Jimmy retired. So I got another chance to do it in 2018. I was a little more ready. I was a little more polished. And I still was rough, what they would call it, but, you know, you could see the potential.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to do third quarter 2018, 2019, and the beginning of 2020, then COVID hit. And we just shut down for like 18 months.
Yeah.
And that time frame, I thought, so 2021, we come back August, and I'm doing the third quarter. Now, Big Easy is my showman. He retires. So his last show is in August. He retires December. I get a call saying, yo, it's your time. You about to be a lead showman. I'm like, I'm ready for it. And then,
Well, yeah, because you're what, 8-9 seasons in? I mean, that's a long time.
Yes, 8-9 seasons in. But then, you know, I get put back in this third quarter showman. Some other stuff come back, and I get put back as third quarter showman. That's just, the company chose to go with somebody else to be that lead showman.
Why do you think that was? Was it because you lacked confidence in the role at the time, or
I don't think I lack confidence. Like I said, it was
were you missing your half court shot?
probably, I don't know. People who the ones who make that decision, you would have to ask them.
Sure.
But I'm forever grateful that I was, pulled back and made the third quarter showman, and I went and was a third quarter showman for Hammer and Handles. I feel like it was a cheat code being able to travel with them too. I look at those two; they have a very unique mind and understanding about this organization that I didn't have until I started traveling with them.
Sure.
So I'm forever grateful.
What did they teach you? What specifically?
Well, two different things. Hammer, he teaches you things on real life, and they both do. But Hammer teaches you how to level up financially. I'll put it at that. Just real talk.
Yeah.
Like he teaches you how to get your business in order. Handles, he's so passionate about the Globetrotters, and he wanted to be a Globetrotter since he was 6 years old. And he knows any and everything about this organization. And so just watch him work, and, and it's just not the stuff about the show. It's like, making sure the fans is good, making sure as soon as we walk in the arena, how you treating and carrying yourself to other people, and whether it's, how the time of the show, the length of the show is not always X's and O's. It's about the greater good for the Harlem Globetrotters. And you learn all of those things, and it kind of gives you a cheat code as a showman if you want to learn. So I try to learn from everybody.
Sure.
But that's what I learned from Handles, and he's just the ultimate, humanitarian, and he just treats people right.
Yeah.
So I learned that.
I think you learn from like everyone around you, but especially when you're looking at like, thankfully the Globetrotters, everything's been filmed kind of forever.
Yes.
So you have a lot of film to look at and go, oh, I want to be like Curly, or oh, I want to be like Sweet Lou Dunbar, or who would you
or some
say?
guys you don't want to be like. I'm serious. I've traveled with some people I don't want to be like.
I believe it. I'm sure there are some egos and stuff in there, but if we were to say like, what the ingredients went into creating Thunder as a Harlem Globetrotter, is a little bit of Sweet Lou, is a little bit of Curly. Like, what did you pull from, you think?
I pulled from a lot of people. Like the way like Geese. Geese was, he was one of the greatest showmen. He's my second favorite showman of all time. First is Sweet Lou Dunbar. But Geese, the way he moved, you'll see me when I dance with a lady, it's like the way he contort his body and just move his hips. Like, I said, I got to do that, but I got to make it Thunder. And I even call it, Sweet Lou, the way he is, the way he just walks in a room and he just lights up the whole room. And like, he don't even have to say nothing to be funny. He'll just give you a look. And like his mannerisms, his charisma, I studied that. I know he'd be tired after a game when he just flew home a couple of days ago, but like, I'll just go talk to him after the show and just like, I'll ask him one question and just bait him in and just get him talking. I just listen, become a kid. Because he has so many stories. I mean, he's been a part of this organization for 50 years, so he knows everything.
What's your favorite individual memory with Sweet Lou Dunbar?
My first year is crazy. My first year, he was my head coach. It was the very last game, and I watched the vets at the time. It was Cheese, Hammer, and Big Easy. They had a Gatorade bucket, but it was filled with confetti. And Sweet Lou, I'm like, you watch a Globetrotter show every night for 50 years. I can't believe you got with this. But they had it filled, and they thought they was chasing him. And I watched Sweet Lou get up and run. Last time I ever seen him run, he's literally, I have a video of it too. He's running around the bench because he thought Hammer, Big Easy, and Cheese was about to dump a bucket of Gatorade on his new suit. And it was confetti in the bucket the whole time. And I'm like, you watch us do this every night and you fell for this? Was crazy. But we never used the Gatorade bucket to do it, so it's always like a confetti bucket. But that was my favorite moment of him. And then my second favorite moment will be all the moments we get to have.
Sure.
And I always appreciate those the most. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure it is extremely surreal. What would be like the Mount Rushmore of Globetrotters? I'm assuming we're gonna say Sweet Lou's on there.
If I'm just now.
So
everybody got their own opinion. Everybody got their own opinion.
Yeah, of course.
So don't come at me, y'all. So Sweet Lou is for me. Just to be able to, have the career he's had, to play for 25 years and then coach 25 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just to be good at that, to be good at anything for 10 years is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So Sweet Lou is mine. Curly. Man, this is tough now. Sweet Lou, Curly. I'm on this Geese wave, man. I've just been studying, like, since I've really been in this, I've been just studying Geese. Geese is number 3 for me. And, you got to go Meadowlark. You got to go Meadowlark Lemon. You got to.
If you were going to assemble a dream team specifically to compete, like, compete in the Olympics, because you guys are kind of your own country.
Okay, yeah.
Who would be the 4 players, and in their prime, if you could have them be on your team for you guys to compete in the Olympics? What would your team be? What positions would they be?
Okay.
You're on the team.
So you want to do 6?
Yeah.
If we do 6?
Sure.
All right, 6. I'm a 6 man. I'm coming off the bench. Okay. Okay, so everyone, I don't know if you know, but Wilt Chamberlain was a Globetrotter.
Yeah, I did know that.
So yes, Wilt Chamberlain's going to be number 1. My point guard would be Sweet Lou Dunbar. 6'9" point guard.
I was going to say, he seems really tall. I didn't know he was a point guard.
Go ask Magic who he learned how to be a 6'9" point guard from. That's sweet.
Sure.
Sweet Lou was the first 6'9" point guard.
Yeah.
Sweet Lou. I'm going to go Sweet Lou as my point guard. I'm going to go with a dude named, he was drafted by the Chicago Bulls. I got a chance to play with him a lot. Highlight. His name was Chris Bruton. He tells me crazy stories about him having to guard Michael Jordan in practice. So he's going to be my 3. So where we at right now? That's 3?
Yeah.
So I got Sweet Lou, Wilt Chamberlain, Highlight, myself. I might go, man, there's some hitters in there, man. Because like the first person that just came to my mind was one of my favorite showmen that I got to play with. His name is Ant Atkinson. He has a record, you know, he hit 22 fours in a Globetrotter game. He's still one of the best shooters
in
I've
one
ever.
game.
And he's one of the best. I know people talk about like Steph and Clay, like, and I'm like, they got it in the league. But like watching somebody shoot the ball and make 22 fours and hit 17 in a row, I don't care who you, that's the greatest shooter I've ever seen with my eyes.
How much further is the 4-point line from the 3? It's a ways.
It's a little ways. It's at least like 5. It's at least a 5 feet difference.
Wow.
At least.
Okay.
But yeah, watching Ant, I gotta get a shooter in there. And then I don't know if you ever heard about Barton College, but what he did, like he's viral. They play his clips every Final Four. Like it was like down by like 8 or something with like 10 seconds left.
Sure.
He comes back and win the game for his Division II school, Barton. It was crazy. You got to check it out if you get a chance.
And Atkinson's the guy you'd like to get to the basket. Atkinson, spin move, Henderson, let him go. Pull up, pop, book it. 23 for Atkinson. And a steal ball! Going by! The drive, reverse. Oh, what a play! Anthony Atkinson has tied it up. 4 seconds left. Melvick stolen away. He's got time. Atkinson, layup. Good!
So I'm going Ant Atkinson. And then who else we got? We just got too many heavy hitters. Woo! I'm gonna have to leave that. I got 5. I'm gonna leave that 6 spot open and put me back in the starting lineup. We got our 5, and then somebody let the other 500 players try out for that spot because it's too many. It's too many hitters.
Okay, if you were gonna pick the 3 greatest dunkers ever when they were in their prime, who's it gonna be? Because I always think of the Vince Carter like 2000, but
that's number 1.
Okay,
and I would do 3 of those, just 3 of him and nobody else. Like watching him in that 2000 dunk contest, I had it on DVD, and after I saw that, I used to just do calf raises all day. Just no joke, just calf raises to hopefully be able like he's my favorite. He's the greatest.
Hey, that is a reverse 360.
But Sean Kemp, Dominique Wilkins.
Baseline drive. Dominique. Oh,
I mean, after Vince Carter, whoever you want to say, like, I mean, some people will say Jason Richardson. I like Jason Richardson. You know, the younger kids might pick the Aaron Gordon. You know, but like I'm an old school. Like you got to give me with some power.
Yeah.
You know, I give me that Dominique Wilkins, Sean Kemp for me, and Vince Carter.
What do you do for your workout to stay in shape? Because you guys travel way more than a typical NBA team does. So even on this, like when me and you were messaging, I'm like, how do you find time to work out?
You do. Like yesterday we had an off day. You know, you got to sneak into the gym. We got a lot of my teammates. They're probably about to finish their workout like right now. It's a gym. We find the gym. It's a gym. You know, we got the court, but like most of the arenas we play in got like a solid gym with weights and stuff in there. We'll get it in. Our day is pretty routine. We wake up in the morning, grab breakfast, hit the road, and then we'll get to the hotel around 1. We'll leave the hotel to come to the arena around 3. We'll practice, and then we'll have about 2 hours maybe before game time. You can kind of sneak it in if you're really dedicated.
Sure.
You know, but
well, you're like my age, and like Dad Bod is setting in, my friend.
I'm here with you. I'm here with you, though. At least my kids get my daughters. They call me. You know, they got all the big back jokes. Like they just stay with the jokes and stuff. So, but no, man, you just got to find a way. You'll find it if you want to stay in shape. You will.
I'd stay in enough shape that it's like,
you look good, man. So you're good.
Let's talk about the TV thing because you are like a whole big TV personality, and that's totally different. It's not the same thing as being on the court where you're in your element. Like, and the TV show, I think it's on Aspire. I forget what the name of the TV show is, but. How did the TV thing come into play? Did you just get like a text from somebody on the team who was like, hey, we got this deal with Aspire. We're going to do a TV show. Do you want to go to the pyramids? Like, how did it work?
What's crazy is The TV thing, I literally is this one name, Keith Dawkins. I'm gonna be real with you. That's our president. And the first day I met him in L.A. We played in L.A. in 2022, and I met him. He was in the locker room talking to us, and he just was kind of, telling them the passion he has for the Globetrotters, and he's honored. But then the next thing he said, I'm gonna put you guys back on TV for the first time in 40 years. And he ain't never lied. I'm on TV every Saturday on Aspire TV talking about it right now, and it's just shout out to him, and I found a talent that I didn't know I have. I enjoy being on camera. Yeah. And without Keith, I would have never known that, so he said that he was going to put us on TV, and he did.
What's your favorite experience from that? Because I watched as much as I could kind of find, which was a lot. I mean, I saw you like cutting hair in Philadelphia. Yeah. I saw you, you went to the pyramids. I know you went to Iceland. Yeah. You've been like everywhere. If you had to pick one memory from the TV show is your favorite, what is it?
One is crazy.
Well, if we had 5 hours, we could share more.
The pyramids for sure. But the cool thing about that is like, we're just living our everyday life as a Globetrotter. Like, this is the stuff we always get to do. Now we just got a camera crew following us.
Sure.
It's dope.
What's been your greatest experience that wasn't on camera then when you were traveling? Are there other times where you were on a four-wheeler out in the desert with your best friend zooming around?
Listen, I don't know what the ratings is for this show. I don't know if I can talk about those. I don't know if I can talk about those other experiences, but we got some stories, man. We got some stories, but let me see. Anytime, me and my squad, we get together, and no matter what we do, whether it's just hanging out in Oshkosh for New Year's, it's a vibe. Like, It's a vibe. We gonna make some memories, literally. And Sweet Lou always tell me, you never gonna remember what happened on the court, but you always gonna remember hanging out with your homies and how we made each other feel and what we were doing.
Everyone needs to go follow you online because you post a lot of that stuff. Yeah. Like, you posted your little Christmas party with everybody the other day, and that was kind of dope to watch. The outside.
Well, it'd be cool. Maybe I'll put you in my close friends. You get to see some.
Dude, close friends is wild by that much. I see that all the time from people where I'm like, I didn't know we were close friends, but that's pretty dope. I think higher of people because of that. Okay. What about mistakes that happen on the court? Because you have to do like a 3/4 court shot basically you do in the game, which is crazy to be that accurate for it. But there has to be some embarrassing mistake type moment that happened. What's your most embarrassing moment on the court?
I rarely get embarrassed, but it's funny because the way that people look at the Globetrotters, like, you look at me and I got 15 Guinness World Records. You'll see me cutting up and doing crazy stuff all day on the court. So when I do miss, the fans look at us and admire us so much, and they look like such a high standard of it. They think we did it on purpose. So, so I get lucky sometimes, but I try not to get embarrassed because, it's just always the next play. It's like, if you ask Pat Mahomes about, throwing an interception, he gonna say, it's about the next pass. He's not going to think about it. Sure. So if I miss a shot, I'm going to make the next one. So that's just how I think.
What do you think the shooting percentage is for you for that, like, granny shot that you do? Because you did it first try, I think, during the game last year. Here.
So, yes, and I'm going to make it again. So it's going to be 100% for you. But you'll get to see it. I'm going to make it again tonight. But, I do miss. My goal, if I got 10 games, in 10 game span, I got to hit at least 6 times.
Wow.
But that's
how
always
often
a goal.
do you throw that then in practice? Because I saw you like practicing a hook shot. But
so I'm changing my form on my hook shot right now. So I'm really like trying to mess with it a little bit because it's not feeling good. I just need to get back into getting back to shooting to where it feel good. But the granny, it just feels good. Like, I missed it 2 nights in a row, and both of them was literally in and out. I did my part. I just, that's gravity fall. I don't know what happened, but that's the confidence I have in myself. It felt amazing. It went in and out, and I'm like, I didn't even want to go practice it because it's just been feeling so good. So, but my hook shot, I'm not gonna lie, it's been feeling a little like something ain't right with it. So I was practicing. I was getting a little frustrated. I couldn't, I was like, not even hitting the rim. I was getting real, So
that's why you were sweating when you came and talked to me. Do you still hold the world record for that one?
I think so.
Okay, so let's talk about the world record. So the first one was before you played your first game, and you were bald at that one. So it's funny to see the hair now, but with the sweatband, you look cool, and you hammered that one out. And then you got like 15 or something of those things. And in order to do that, have all of those been lined up by the team? Because you have to have representatives there. It's like a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Yeah. So let's get back to the ball right quick. First of all, I only cut my hair that low because I thought it was like a prerequisite for the Globetrotters because Flight Time and Big Easy and Firefly had bald hair. So I'm like, I got to fit in. Bad decision for me. But the world records came about, I got a call from Brett Mice at the time. And he just hit me up like, do you think you can make a full court shot? I never tried it, but I know I had $7 in my bank account at the time. So I'm trying to find any way to get out here and come make some money. So I'm like, absolutely. And so next thing you know, I got flown out here, flown out to Phoenix to shoot.
Specifically to try that?
Yes.
Wow.
Like, because I
invested in you.
Well, yeah, I kind of like, I was like, of course I can do it with ease.
Confidence.
So like he told me I'm going to be flying out in about a few days. So I went to my gym and I was trying to practice it. And at High Point, the gym's not even big enough to really shoot like a full court shot without it hitting the ceiling. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like in there trying to throw it. And so I went to an outdoor court. And I found out what the record was. It was 107 feet. So I got some tape measure and I wasn't getting close. Yeah, I'm like, dang. But when I got to, it was in Phoenix, Arizona. I flew there and it was with a teammate named Buckets and then Slick. And they were trying it, and I was like, oh, yeah, they ain't making it either. But when I saw they really couldn't do it, I don't know why that gave me more confidence to try. But, like, I remember asking them, can we change the angle and make it, because we were shooting it straight on. And I asked to change the angle. They changed the angle, and I hit it in, like, 3 tries.
Wow.
I still don't know. Like, it's crazy.
Is that the one that you're most proud of all of the different records that you made? I think the craziest one that I saw was when you, like, did a sit-up and throw it. Like
that one.
It takes a lot of core strength.
That was really easy for me though.
Really?
The hardest one, I don't know if you saw the one when it was like a crane. They had the goal.
Yeah, where you had to throw it up.
I don't know if you watched my pure emotion after that shot. It was kids there visiting the city, the city capitol building, the state capitol building in Utah. They were watching me. I couldn't make it. The kids were crying. They felt so sad. And I'm like, yo, give me one more try. Give me one more try. I shot the last one. The next one took me about 30 or 40 tries, and I just couldn't get it. And
I was arm dead after that
for 3 weeks. It was so sore. So I gave one last try, and the ball hit the top of the rim and just fell in. And I went and hugged the lady that was, I don't know who, I remember hugging somebody. It was kids. They were so happy. I was happy. I was like, oh man, these kids probably thought I was a hero. That's like seeing Superman can't fly no more. That's what I felt like when I saw that kid cry because I was missing that shot. But when I made it, I was like, damn, whew, that was the one.
So was the feeling better from that or from when you alley-oop dunked a pass from Snoop Dogg?
Oh man, that's tough. Okay, selfishly, kicking it with Snoop was crazy. That was fun. But being able to, inspire that little kid and, all the Globetrotter things that we do, that's the one. But me selfishly, hanging out with Snoop Dogg was on my bucket list since I was ever since I can remember.
Because you've met a lot of celebrities. There was one where you went to like a music school with Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is wild.
Lakers or Celtics?
Lakers.
Exactly.
But tell me about how the whole Snoop thing happened and how wild is it that he rapped your name?
Shooting them hoops and making baskets, all right. Thunder.
Yeah.
Like he specifically said your name,
dog.
and you could still go back and find the MP3 and listen to it. That's like legendary.
Hanging out with Snoop was cool because I had got a call from my PR team and was like, yo, we're going to be going to LA shooting some content, but we can't tell you who was with. I'm like, I've never got that because but they saying that this got to be a pretty popular person because usually I'm always the talent and we're going else, do stuff and it's other way around.
Yeah.
And people are surprised to see us. Yeah. So, they're keeping it under wraps. And then the night before I get one more call and it's like, all right, we're going to be shooting a commercial with Snoop Dogg. And I'm like, word? So I'm having all of these crazy thing, images pop in my head, what it could be like, and then plus everybody hears stories about when they go hang with Snoop Dogg, the first thing that everybody thinks about.
Yeah.
So, but we get there and we're there about 7:00 in the morning and we just, rehearsing, warming up, getting ready for this scene to start shooting. Snoop Dogg walks in 7:30. As soon as Snoop Dogg get there, 2 minutes later, we start shooting. I mean, he's sharp. Everything one take. Wow. And you see Snoop and you just look, that's a pro. You like he's not just a rap. He's not just a rapper. People like have this I don't know image of how somebody would be, and that's not how I pick. Like Snoop Dogg is just an ultimate professional. You know, when you see Snoop Dogg, sometimes he might be, whatever you want to call it, but like on set, he is so sharp. You tell him one thing, he gives you what you need and more, and he's just like the ultimate professional.
So was the alley-oop, was that kind of improvised, or did you know that was going to happen? No,
pretty much anything he was improvising. Like he just tell me go catch one, and I just go.
How many tries did it take to get the alley-oop from him?
One. I mean, no joke. One. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
sure.
Yeah.
Did he teach you how to crip walk? I saw you do the little dance for him. Did he correct your moves?
He corrected me. I got you.
We don't lose.
But he was very polite with the correction. But he was like, okay, nephew. But looking back at it, I was like, I could have did better for Snoop. It was my joint was trash. It was bad.
Dude, maybe you'll get another opportunity.
If I get another opportunity, it'll be a lot better.
So I think the most important part about what the Globetrotters do is inspire kids. Yes. And Speedy told me a pretty cool story about giving a kid a pair of shoes and then seeing him, years later. If you had to pick one meaningful experience with a kid, whether it was like at a school that you went to or you saw a fan 10 years later, he's playing in this league. If you had to pick one experience that you can remember, what would you share as the most meaningful one?
Most meaningful and most life-changing.
Yeah.
It's Mighty George. I had a chance to meet this guy. His name was George from Houston, Texas. And I met him 2014. And he was battling cancer. And the way I met him, I went to his class. He wasn't in school. I went to his class and shot a video with his class, basically telling him get well soon. We shot a video on an iPad. A member of our PR team took the iPad to his house. And he's watching the video. He's excited to see, no matter what he's going through, he's excited to see his classmates with Thunder. And while he's watching this video, I'm standing behind him in his living room. Whoa. And he turns around, and the emotion he has on his face when he sees me, and he runs and just gives me a hug.
Hey, George.
Oh my goodness!
How's it going? How's it going, George?
What's going on, George?
We have something for you. How you doing? You're welcome.
Buddy.
You get this though?
Oh, is this ball? Can I have one?
You get some?
We were just watching you guys.
Oh wow! I didn't know you could do that, George.
George.
And he talks about my world record when I had only had one at the time. And he talks about the world record he saw, and I'm like, this is way bigger than myself. And that moment right there changed my life. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. And the cool thing about it is I had a chance to speak to him a couple years ago. He's still doing well. I believe he might have just graduated high school now. But Mighty George is doing well, and he's still staying strong.
Man.
And that changed my life forever. And I always promise to make every contact, every connection, every time I get to talk to someone as meaningful as that moment, because you never know what someone's going through. And Mighty George taught me that. But it wasn't about him in that moment. He was so excited to see his classmates with me as I was standing behind him watch that video, and he's the one who was battling cancer. It was, I get touched up now just thinking about it.
That's why you're still playing for the Globetrotters all these years later, because you're like, man,
absolutely.
When I got seen dunking, I didn't think that this was going to change my life in this way, this drastically. But how could you ever walk away from it now?
It's like, even when I choose to retire, or like I said earlier, I'm a Globetrotter for life. When I stop playing or when I stop dunking, that feeling that you give people, that the way you change a room, that's never going to go away. That's always going to be who I am. But I don't know. I just know like this year, I feel good. I know I ain't going nowhere no time soon because I feel good. I feel healthy. God's blessed me. And I just want to keep creating memories that's going to keep changing the world. That's what I want to do.
And you still need like 11 seasons to break the record then for the most seasons as a Globetrotter, right?
Do I? No. So let me see. Sweet Lou got 25. I don't think somebody got more than Sweet Lou too. He might got it too. But I'm going to tell you now, I ain't breaking that record. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Well, dude, thank you so much. I'm going to give you a couple quick gifts.
Oh, yeah, nice.
These headphones are from Skull Candy. They're fancy.
That's love.
They're gold, little earbuds for the trip.
Yeah.
I know you're a coffee guy. Caribou is a coffee brand from Minnesota.
That's love.
So that's their little Christmas blend.
This one right here?
Yep, that's for you. I don't know if you realistically want to carry a coffee mug around with you on the road, but if
Absolutely,
you
why
want
not?
one of them, you
Yes.
can pick any of these 3 to go with you as well.
That's love. Thank you so much.
And then give a shout out. Where can people go follow you? Is Instagram the best platform?
Instagram. I need to be more active on TikTok, but so my social media is I got TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. But I'm not as active on the other 2 platforms like I am on Instagram. So you can follow me at I am Corey Law on Instagram. Hit me up, and I promise to always respond. I might not respond right away, but I'll promise to always respond.
Dude.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Passion Pod. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you soon.